They started out good. It was a nice first 7 minutes of a game.
Yeah, it looked like competitive.
Yeah, it was 7-7. It was like, okay, all right. And then,
Well, Mike White got hurt, and things just changed very quickly.
Yeah, well, the Jets had pinned their hopes to Mike White since the preseason, apparently. But it's true. But actually, Mike White's kind of good.
He's actually good.
He's kind of good.
He looked good. I mean, he made one or two ill-advised throws when he was in there, but other than that, he was like, oh, okay, they got a nice little backup. He's going to make some money in his future.
The thing about Wentz, see, you're not going to find – we already know he can do what he did last night because we've seen that this year. When it matters most is my question about Wentz. Frank Reich, Colts head coach, of course, had this to say about his quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing a lot of good football this year. He played, had a couple things at the end of the last game. But, he was flawless today. I mean, he was stinking flawless.
Yeah, he was. Frank is right. The last 2 minutes of the last game, he looked like a different dude. When you look at where he was at this year, he was 22 of 30. It was like a little bit shy of 300 yards. He got the ball to Michael Pittman in crucial situations in the red zone. He's been doing that all season long. They put him on the move. He looked like the number 2 pick of the draft. And I like seeing that sort of, I don't want to call it a redemption story, but sort of kind of like getting back to what they thought you were when they got you.
Well, they can because, they ran for 260 yards, right? Jonathan Taylor, who was, the man in October, a player of the month in October for the NFL, ran for 172 yards. So when they have that dominant run game, it obviously creates more flexibility for Carson Wentz. And look, you're sitting there understanding what the Titans situation is, understanding that they lost Derrick Henry, and you're looking at the Colts saying, playing this way, granted, against the Jets, it's possible.
Everyone can mess up sometimes. I wonder if when Carson Wentz messes up, is that random? Hey, everyone's going to make some mistakes, or does that happen when you need it most? Because it was curious how he played so well 2 weeks ago or 2 games ago, and then when they needed it most, terrible play. We're not going to find that out against the Jets. We will going forward in the season. That was how Week 9 started in the NFL, but this week has been really in the NFL what's gone on off the field, and there is even more breaking news this morning. Ready for this? According to ESPN's Dan Graziano, the Browns and Odell Beckham Jr.'s representatives have this week been working to negotiate an agreement on terms under which they would release Odell Beckham Jr. I know that may not come as a surprise to many people. It looked like that's where it was going, but now Dan Graziano is reporting it. Specifically, the Browns have been seeking financial protection in the event that Odell clears waivers and they're stuck having to pay his salary. Not clear yet if any agreement has been reached. It's possible a deal is close or will happen Friday morning. If and when they do, Odell would be waived.
Waived. That's smart. You should have did that a while ago, right? Should have traded and finding a trade partner, cut a deal, negotiated. They tried that. It didn't work with the New Orleans Saints, but you should have tried some other trade partners. But I think a lot of teams probably felt like eventually you're going to waive him anyway. And if not, you're just stuck with that salary. Will he clear waivers? I don't know if he'll clear waivers, but what he should do and what I would advise him to do if I was his representatives, I had a conversation with his representatives, I would say every team that's in position to get you, I'm not coming until I get to the team that I want to go to. I'm going to sit at home and I'm just going to chill. So don't use it. Don't waste your time. And then you just keep going down the list. And then when you finally get to one of those teams that you think, like
claim me.
The
Yes.
Raiders, the Rams,
Chiefs.
the Chiefs, those 3 teams I'm looking at if I'm OBJ, I'm going Raiders, Rams, Chiefs. I'm looking at that. And I'm saying to myself, good quarterbacks, so I'm going to be okay as far as that goes.
He's never played with a really good quarterback, by the way.
I could also help the receiving core. Yeah, I'm going to look at those 3 teams.
What's the best team, Key? What would you say the best team would be if you're being OBJ? Here's who I want to play with.
Long term? See, all 3 of those quarterbacks are long term.
Yeah, I hear you, but best.
Best fit for him, to me, right now, based on I would look at the Raiders, number 1, because of the Henry Ruggs situation. They don't have anybody to take the top off of it.
he would get a lot of looks in that offense.
A lot of looks in that offense. Carr's good.
You can see
They're
Carr supports his guys.
They're
too.
resetting their culture. Like the time of him coming in is kind
That
of
would be
perfect.
good.
Actually,
Kansas City needs another guy, but will Patrick Mahomes all of a sudden go away from Tyreek and Kelsey to implement you into the offense and get you enough touches so you can make a difference? And then there's always the Rams and Sean McVay that can utilize him in a lot of different ways. He already has a place in Los Angeles. He's familiar with Southern California.
What could McVay could do with Odell?
You know, you can play with that a
that
little
receiving
bit.
core already.
Yeah, you can play with that a little bit.
Oh,
And the Rams are not afraid to make moves. And so I think that would be a good landing spot. And they're not afraid to pay
know
the
what,
money
though?
because you got to fit into the $8 million has to fit into somebody's cap structure too.
although it sounds to me like Odell's going to have to buy his way out a little bit. Odell
you
is
can take that.
Yeah.
though.
that's why they're financial protection. So it sounds to me like this is going to cost Odell some money to get out of town.
But I
Which I'm
get that
sure
I'll
is
money-
worth
pay
it.
money
but
to get
but
out
I'ma
of town
get that-
anyway.
But I'm gonna get that money back from the other team.
And also, your prime is so fleeting. While he still has his athletic, the athletic quality, whatever's left of his prime, you don't want to sit on the shelf and waste that. Everything you just said, McVay makes a lot of sense. The Raiders because of Ruggs, but when you said Kelsey and Hill, it takes.
You got McCole.
Oh my! But just
You got
Hartman.
Hartman. Yeah, you
Yep.
got him. I mean, sounds sexy and good. I'm just saying, like, the best spot for him to excel at the highest level to me would be the Raiders.
yeah, because he's replacing. He will be the primary
Primary
option
target.
in that offense.
Him and Waller.
Yeah. But just something about the Chiefs. And McVay probably makes the most sense to the scheming things where you could use Odell can kind of almost like a multi-purpose back out of the backfield. You can use Odell in all kinds of ways. But the thought of him with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. If you're Mahomes, you got to be you look at the Bucks. Bucks had enough already. They added Antonio Brown and Gronk. Right? They already had enough. That's really why they're so ridiculous. They just throw guys at you all day. You add Odell to the Chiefs, it's a problem. Now McCole Hardman is your four.
The New England Patriots. The New England Patriots would be a good landing spot for him too. No, it would be.
I wouldn't go there.
No, it'd be a good landing spot for him.
Yeah, Belichick.
They know.
But Matt,
They'll know what to do with him.
Yeah,
I feel
Belichick will know what to
I
do
hear
with him.
Belichick will know what to do with them, but I mean, you're going from Baker Mayfield to Mac Jones.
Yeah,
Like,
but it doesn't. But Belichick will put an emphasis on making sure that Mac Jones gets him the football.
that's fine, all. But I'm looking at those three options. Like those far surpass the New England Patriots to me. When you look at the Rams, the Chiefs, and the Raiders, like those are far better options.
Odell.
New England's not a bad option, though, Jay.
Yeah,
New England
I agree.
New England would not be a bad option.
Odell
So
also
what's
has
the point? Are you
Jay,
trying to win a Super Bowl, or are you trying to be the primary target?
But I don't know. I don't know where New England's going to end up at right now. They're sitting on the outside looking in at 4-4.
They could get in the playoffs.
They could get in the playoffs.
We're asking a Key J and Max on the Dr. Pepper Twitter feed, which of these teams currently not in the playoffs will end up making the playoffs? Colts, Browns, Bears, or Jay, Patriots? Be a part of KJM Nation on the Dr. Pepper Twitter feed or call in line 888-SAY-ESPN 729-3776. ESPN Nation's presented by Dr. Pepper. College football's back, so are the fans. Return to glory with Fansville by Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. So Odell and the Browns have dominated headlines this week for part of the week because there's been a lot of news. The other story
You don't even know what day you're on.
that's made headlines all week is like 3 weeks
Crazy.
into one. That's after Jay has this from DraftKings.
Let's go, DraftKings.